Oh man. Woo, that's some good water. Boom. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Kenny Parker Show. We do this every Tuesday and Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What's up, y'all? Let me make the screen a little bigger so I could see. Why you wear those glasses? So I can see. And what I can see is that Spook Realm 4Q, you were once again, as usual, number one in the place. Um, let me see if I can move quick. Samuel Gervais, what up? Dre Stock Dollars, what up? John Walker, what up? John Walker says, what up to DJ KP? And big up to the Rewind crew. Um, Big up to the Rewind crew, J Wu 72. Henry Cedillo, what up? See all the regulars. Canera says Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn 11207. What part is that? Henry Cedillo says rest in peace, Hitman. I'm gonna get to that in a second. El Tico Loco. What's up? Jay Wu says, yo, Ken, when you gonna post your brother DJ KRS on the turntables in the crib? How do you know about that? Did I mention that I had some footage, some old home footage of KRS-One DJ in the crib and us having fun? I was filming. This is from 1989. I believe it's the only home footage of KRS-One that exists. I have it. I'm gonna put it up probably, when we do like some kind of special project or whatever, I'll put it up. Um, as you can imagine, once you put something up on social media, it's almost not your own anymore. People take it and they just go. Um, they go with it. So you got to be very aware of what you put up, or you got to put tags all over it. I remember one time I put up a picture of KRS-One and me as kids um, on my Facebook page, just for my Facebook people to check out. I thought it was funny. People took it and it went everywhere. It was in magazines and everything. I was like, damn, I didn't intend for it to go out like that. I just wanted to put it up for Facebook. That I have to be mindful that any music, anything I say. Matter of fact, YouTube can do anything they want with anything that I say on here. So eventually I'm gonna put it up, but it has to be some kind of reason. Um, Abel Valdez says, Peace, Kenny. Do you remember that song on the Mobb Deep album where Q-Tip is rapping about different clothing brand names? I don't remember it off the top of my head. Does he have to get permission to put those names on that record? That's a good question. I would say no. It's something like that. I think you can shout out brands. I don't think any brand would be mad if you shouted them out either. But I think you can shout out brands in your rap. I know singers have said, um, have sung and said certain things in certain brands in their singing records, and it was never a problem. Um, I don't think so. I think there's certain ways that you use a brand. I'm not sure that you probably would have to get permission for, but I don't think so. Enough artists have done it. Um, how many people said Polo and Gucci and Louis and all of these things? If you had to clear that every time, could you imagine what the rap game would look like? Great question though. Dan Marasuti, what up from Canada? Um, Orrin Hamilton, what's good? Gregory Nettis, what's good? Gregory Nettis says, yo, Kenny, the Chaos beat is awesome. You should get Sadat X. Big up Sadat, who I got to bring back on the channel. And or Large Professor and your other guests to do a song on your beats. Word up, son. That would be great. Thank you so much for checking out the beat. For those that didn't get a chance to check it out, um, the Chaos beat is the last beat that I put up. I believe I put it up on Sunday morning. think I'm gonna put another beat up this Sunday morning. I think I'm gonna do Sunday morning beats. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to keep that schedule. Not sure though. I have an interview possibly coming up this week too. A nice one that I've been wanting to do. So got to get back to my man who's hooking it up. I just saw his DM earlier today. John Walker says, "Yo, Kenny, oh, that's not what I was gonna. Yeah, John Walker says, Kenny, you and Soren Baker. Shout out to Soren Baker, Unique Access. I was trying to work with him, and I was trying to when I was putting out my book. If you don't got the book, my brother's name is Kenny. Matter of fact, let me show you the book. Just quick plug: The True Origin Story of BDP. It's all there. You guys know the drill. If you don't have it, the link is in the description below. Yeah, big up Soren Baker. Dopest on the net. Shout out, much respect. Thank you so much. Yeah, I check out quite a few of Soren Baker's interviews. I like interviews where they get to the facts and they talk about the art, not all the extra stuff. Um, CMC's techniques in class as usual. I don't even know what to say at this point, but thank you once again. Salute BDPKP. My first time ever hearing about Howie Tee was on Gorgeous, Beautiful, and Fine. Real Rock says singing Howie's Teed Off. Remember that? Howie's Teed Off. My singing is excellent. Let's talk about first, before I talk about Howie Tee, thank you, CMC. Let me just big up real quick uh, an icon from my childhood who passed away this week. I'm gonna big up Lonnie Anderson. I saw that earlier this week. I was kind of sad. Um, I loved WKRP in Cincinnati. Show had me laughing every week. You know, as we get older, the people that we grew up with, the people that entertained us as children, are slowly but surely passing away. But I just wanted to big up Lonnie Anderson real quick. Never met her, don't know anybody who even knows her. I know she was married to Burt Reynolds, another hilarious dude. But I want to shout her out real quick. Rest in peace to her family. Yes, Howie Tee made me really, really sad this week. Um, and I hate when we come on here and another one of our hip hop fallen soldiers. Um, we have to talk about our hip hop fallen soldiers, and he was a soldier and a great producer. Um, the first time I was aware of him, keep in mind, we've been aware of Howie Tee for a minute before we actually heard his name. But you're right. I remember when the Real Roxanne and them, I don't know who was singing, maybe it was her, was going, Howie's Teed Off. I used to like that. Red Alert used to play that all the time. And I remember I used to like Chubb Rock's, I believe it's his first song. I'm a DJ innovator. I'm a DJ. I'm a DJ. I'm a DJ innovator. And he talked about Howie Tee, and I believe Howie Tee had vocals on that song. Also, what I did find out, which I wasn't really aware of, is that Howie Tee was in the group CD3. I believe they dropped in '84. You know the world is rough, so get tough. You know the world is rough, so get tough. That record used to play a lot in New York City. That was a big New York City hip hop song. Howie Tee was in that group. And I believe he did some work with Whistle. I think he did They're Only Buggin', not sure, but I think he did that too. So we was aware of Howie Tee way before we heard his name. And also, Howie Tee, I found out he used to live on Church Avenue and Brooklyn Avenue in Brooklyn, Flatbush, Brooklyn. I grew up a block away from there. My family used to live on Church Avenue and East 35th. For those that know Flatbush, that is literally the next block. And I used to be on Brooklyn Avenue in Church because my man Daryl Stiff, I'm gonna shout out my man Daryl Stiff. He used to live on Brooklyn between Church and Linden, so I used to go by his crib all the time. I used to ride my bike over there all the time. Howie Tee is a little bit older than me, but we literally lived one block away. I never met Howie Tee. Let me throw that out too. I've never met Howie Tee. Always wanted to. So he's been in our circumference uh, for a minute. Hold on, I got a text. I don't know why. Oh, okay, yeah. So then, of course, he comes really on everybody's radar with the great "I Got It Made" by Special Ed. Um, that at one point was the hottest record in New York City. Classic record to this day, still gets the party going. Shout out to Special Ed from Brooklyn. I remember going to Special Ed's crib in 19, what year was that I went to Special Ed's crib? Like 93? He was doing some beats and he played me some music. I went to his crib. He was living up by the Junction, Nostrand and Flatbush. I'm giving y'all guys a lot of Flatbush, Brooklyn talk. He lived up by the Junction. So I went to Special Ed's crib and chilled out at his crib for a little while. Um, but Howie Tee produced that masterful Special Ed album. Uh, and then, like I mentioned, he did some amazing stuff with Chub Rock, including the monster um, Keep It Right, I'll Be Good to You. You keep me right. That record is guaranteed to this day to get the party started. He did one of the few, I'm not going to call it hip house. Can we call it hip? Was that a hip house record? Keep It Right by Chub Rock? I'm going to call it hip house, but that was just a banger. He produced that. Um, and I remember Chub Rock saying, "Yo, Hitman Howie Tee, what he said? Yo, Hitman Howie Tee, you should have seen her on me. She got all Vanessa Del Rio on me." I remember that line with Hitman Howie Tee. Um, just dope. He's been, and he's done other work. He's worked with Full Force. He's worked with BBD, but he's been all over our hip hop landscape for years. Um, and it's a true loss. Uh, don't know any information on his passing, but he was definitely a pioneer in the days before sampling and during sampling. He doesn't get mentioned that much, but he was dope. Um, we're losing our family slowly but surely, but he'll never be forgotten. So big up Howie Tee. We never got to meet, but rest in peace to your family. You know, I might have met Howie Tee, tell you the truth. Hip hop world is so small, especially for DJs. And I'm cool with Chubb Rock. I'm cool with Special Ed. And like I said, he lived 1 block away from me. We lived in that neighborhood for 5 years. So I might have met Howie Tee before he was a DJ, a producer. Who knows? But to my knowledge, I never met him. But rest in peace to him and his family. Um, yeah. All right, I'm gonna keep it moving. But that really struck me um, when I saw that. Uh, Supreme Divine, what up? Now I'm far behind. Let me keep it moving. Uh, Patrick Y, what up? Northeast Bronx. Ethan Sutton, what up? Mm. Ethan Sutton says, just got my first set of 1200s and you are partly the reason. Keep up the work. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yes, man. Rock, get on those and just rock on, man. That's dope. Thank you. John Walker says number 108 live and kicking. Yes, we're at show 108, which means we're about 106 in a row. Spook Realm says, do you have any routines you perform when doing live shows? Not really, because when I do, you mean when I'm DJing by myself? When I'm DJing by myself, it's usually more about the parties that I do are usually more about the making the people dance. So it's not really more about me, it's more about finding the music that makes the people dance. The parties that I DJ at, I find that it's not more about people watching me do a routine as far as they come there to party. So I got to get the party going. So I focus more on that. When we do BDP shows, I have no routines because I have so much work to do up there with KRS. It's not about me. Once again, it's about making sure all the music runs smooth so he can do his thing. So to answer your question, I really have no routines. Terrence Hill, what up? MMA Crossfire, what up? Yeah, Big Bass says RIP Hitman Howie Tee. Any stories? Smash them likes. Please hit the like button. I say it every week. It helps the algorithm. Please. And like I said, I never met Howie Tee. Never met the brother. But I rocked to his music plenty. Especially, I rocked both Special Ed's first two albums, Heavy and the Chubb Rock album. The one, Here Comes the Two, two, three. I like all that. The Chubster. Um, what's the one that goes, this is an introduction with the Popeye groove. I rocked all that. He had some dope beats, man. He really laced Chubb Rock. I wonder how Chubb is doing today, man. Raw Justice, what up? Chef Daddy says the Chaos beat was fire. Thank you so much. Made that beat years and years ago. An H. Bippy appearance. H. Bippy, what's up? All right, this is good info. Howie Tee was gonna do the scratching on Roxanne because Mixmaster Ice was in jail. He got out the night before they went into the studio. Wow, that's news. That's a great piece of information right there. He almost scratched on the biggest record of 1984. Roxanne. Big up to UTFO. Rest in peace. Mostly all of them have passed. Kango Kid, I used to see all the time in the parties. He was cool. And Doc Ice, that's my man. Haven't seen him in decades. That's my dude. And Mixmaster Ice is my man too, a great DJ. I never met the educated rapper. Rest in peace to him. Shout out to UTFO. Fairy Tale Lover. Okay, I'm gonna stop singing on here. That was my last foray into singing for the day. Oh yeah, James Thomas Jr. Thank you so much for your contribution to the channel. I wasn't sure if this was true, so I didn't want to put it out there. How he produced "I Want to Sex You Up" by Color Me Bad. That was a huge record, platinum single. That might have been the biggest record he ever produced. Then I know they got sued by Betty Wright for "Tonight's the Night." She sued Color Me Bad and won. So she sued Howie Tee. They didn't clear that sample. Thank you for that information. Benny Doyle's in the building. I see one half of the Doyle brothers. Canera says East New York, new lots. I'm not even going to talk about my experiences in East New York. Please get the book. My family used to live in East New York. I think we lived on Livonia Avenue. It's a whole story behind that. Rod Justice, RIP to the DJ Innovator. I'm a DJ Innovator. Let's see. Booze Review says Drink Away the Pain is the Mobb Deep song. Oh, I forgot about that. I could have remembered off the top of my head. Mobb Deep is about to drop an album soon, right? Produced by Havoc and Alchemist. I don't think I've ever met the Alchemist either. I think I met Havoc once. I met Prodigy like once. So I'm gonna say I met Mobb Deep individually like once, just what's up. They didn't really have much to say. Just sup. That was it. We kept it moving. Sup, you know that sup. I don't think I've met Alchemist. Dan Marasuti says Howie Tee is Chubbrock's cousin. I didn't know that either. Wow, Chubb, hold your head, Chubb. So you really lost a friend and a family member, producer. I didn't know that was his cousin. Christopher Caldwell, what up? Floaty1 says, I got rid of Facebook and Instagram because they own those photos once posted, meaning they could be used to create deep fake videos and God knows what else might come along in this tech future. Exactly. I'm still on there. I don't post as much. I try to stay mostly on YouTube, but yeah, when you put something up, it's property of the world, basically. Def Rocker says Pooh-Bah and Hilfiger. Could you imagine if Pooh-Bah had declared Hilfiger every time for the amount of times he said that? Sheesh. Ben Joe said, did he just say Sadat X in 2 weeks? Let's try for that. Let's shoot for that. Daryl Thomas, what's up? Dre Stack Dollar says, this Thursday I make another lap around the sun. Shout out to all the Leos in the building. Happy birthday to you, Dre Stack Dollars from the Kenny Parker Show. My brother is a Leo. His birthday's on the 20th. Happy birthday to you. Every day is a blessing. I look at every single day as my birthday. Every day. This is a person whose name I don't recognize that just came on here with all kind of controversy. Why does KRS still support Bambaataa after the allegations? I don't know if he supports or don't support Bambaataa. I don't know. I have not heard KRS mention Bam at all, but I don't know. That's a question that you should really ask KRS. This is the Kenny Parker Show. So I've commented in the past that I heard about all the stuff with Africa Bambaataa just like everybody else. Um, at the same time you guys heard it, it's the same time I heard it. So I have no comment on that, except horrific, if true. Why nobody look out for Scott La Rock's son? Once again, do you have any idea what you're talking about? And there's a lot more to that story. And I said that quite a few times on this channel. You're new to the channel, E48 Shark Life. There is a lot more to that story, but that I have comments about. And I was not even, I had really nothing to do with that. But my name got dragged into it too. So I have a lot to say. But until KRS says something about it, I'm not going to say anything about it. But when he does, trust me, I have a lot to talk about that whole situation. But why nobody looked out for Scott's son? I don't even know if you know what you're talking about, but okay. Can we get a new BDP album? I don't know. Once again, that's on KRS. I'm sure pretty much every person that's ever been down with BDP would have no problems getting together to work with Chris again. So that's really what Chris would decide to do. Hope that answers your questions. Dudes always come on my channel with stuff like this. What that got to do with me? DJ J Nice says, peace KP, can't stay. Well, it's cool that you checked in for a second. So just have to shout out you and Chris and Scott La Rock, of course. Thank you. Hitman Howie Tee, this is just straight bananas at this point. Yeah, I mean, dudes are dying young, man. This is young. I don't know what his story was, but Napoleon, what up, though? Um, let's see. I don't recognize this name, but let me see if I can pronounce this. Blaslonius Funk. I love that name. Baselonius? I said Blaslonius. Baselonius. Baslonius or is it Baselonius? I said three different pronunciations, so two of them are wrong, or all three of them could be wrong. Baselonius Funk. However way you pronounce your name, I like it. And he says Howie Tee. Um, Daryl Thomas says salute to Ms. Anderson and Howie Tee. Yes, Lonnie Anderson passed away a couple of days ago. WKRP, a great show. Yeah, they used to play some dope music, especially Venus Flytrap. You know what's crazy about that show? The different jocks had a completely different formats. Excuse me. um, Most of the time, a radio station has one format. That's what they're known for. But Venus Flytrap would come on and he'll play completely different music. I forgot my other man's. Oh, he used to have the bushy mustache. I can't remember his name at the top of my head. Who was funny as hell, always looked high for the night before. He would be playing like rock and like soft rock or rock, and then Venus Flytrap would come on with like smooth R&B, like on the same station. That was crazy. Great show. Um, Patrick Wise says, KP, you got to put out the best of KP's vocal selections, LP. You mean the best of me singing? I should do that. Oh man, Hassan Burton, what's up? Um, let's see. Seems like this guy E40 Shark keeps asking the same question. I see it 3 times. I really don't like putting people on pause, but I might have to pause this dude. He's new to the channel. Bew's Review says Rock and Roll Dude was Chubb's first song before DJ Innovator. Oh, I didn't know that. I had that album too, DJ Innovator. I had the single too. That's the first one that Red Alert was playing, so I thought that was his first song. And Howie Tee chopped up the Gwen McCrae sample before Blase Blase did it. Engage VR YouTube channel, what's up? Yeah, that's the name of the record. You bad, Chubbs. Yeah. Oh, that record was so dope. I see this same guy with the same comment. So here's what I'm gonna do. Bam. Let's see. Ice Cold Beverage. I haven't seen that name in a minute. Come on, Let's Move It by Special Ed. Dope track. Absolutely. Both of those albums, both those first two Special Ed albums, both of those were banging, man. The Mission, Special Ed, yeah, CMC, that was dope. Rod Justice says, I know what you mean. I have a photo the photographer gave me, and I copyrighted it. It features Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, and Farrakhan. Wow. I don't post that photo anywhere. You really can't. In my book, I have a picture of me and my brother from 30 years ago that was taken by a photographer. I had to license that picture and pay money to use it in my book. I had to license a picture of me and my brother. I had to license a picture of myself because the photographer owned the copyright. And he was like, you have to pay. And I know this guy. Tupac, Nas posted a picture for Tupac's birthday of Nas and Tupac. And the person who took that picture sued Nas. Nas posted the picture on Instagram, me and Pac, happy birthday, Pac, and the dude sued him. So it's a two-way street, man. You got to be real careful what you put out there, man. This is a tough one, Dartmouth. 3 favorite EPMD songs. Come on, man. EPMD is one of them groups that if you like one, you like 20. I'm going to go. Well, so what you saying, of course. I got a funny story about EPMD. I got an epic fail. I didn't do it as an epic fail. I'm going to tell it right now, matter of fact. And this will be my second song of theirs that I like. Way back in the day, when EPMD first dropped, It's My Thing, I didn't really like that song. I might have been one of the few people on earth that did not at the time like the sample 7 minutes of funk. Yeah, I know how it goes. Doom, 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 doom. EPMD used it first. Jay-Z used it. Classic record by the whole darn family. That's the group who made it. I never liked that record. I like it now. I didn't like it at the time. So I didn't like that song, It's My Thing. I just didn't like anything about it. I thought the rhymes was okay. I just did not like that song. So this came out in 88. It came out in 87 going into 88. I was in school and my brother, KRS, for those that don't know, that's new to the channel, he made mixtapes. He used to make mixtapes all the time. And I always say, I wish I had some of his mixtapes because they were dope. He used to have all the records. He used to cut up all the records and he used to talk. He used to rhyme over other people's acapellas. It was a whole mixtape. It was a whole production he used to do in his crib, which is the same crib that I have the video footage of him DJing. So I came to his crib and I was like, yo, let me get a mixtape. So he gave me this tape. And I was like, so what's on the tape? And he gave me a rundown, this person, and he said EPMD. And I was like, EPMD? I don't really know about that. That's what I said to him. I was walking out the door and he said, you don't like EPMD? I was like, nah, I don't really like It's My Thing. He was like, no, not that one. Did you hear the B-side? You a customer? I was like, no B-side. Never heard no B-side. He said, it's on the tape. Listen to the tape. I had my Walkman. I remember I was riding back to school. I'm listening to his mixtape. All songs are coming on. And all of a sudden I hear doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. Time keeps on slipping. Knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. And then the whole record just goes. And I was just like, yo, this is funky. And that became one of my favorite records from that point. And so next time I saw Chris, I was like, you was right about you a customer. That was banging. He's like, I told you. So really, KRS put me on EPMD. And I was hating it for not hating. That's not a good word. I wasn't hating on them. I just didn't like It's My Thing. But Your Customer was banging. And so that is going to be my second record favorite from them because it's an epic fail for me and how I got the record being convinced by KRS. So I'm gonna put that too. Number 3, I'm gonna go with an obscure one right now. Get Off the Bandwagon remix. The one that goes doom 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 And they actually gave a shout out to KRS-One in the record. He goes, Blastmaster KRS-One, yo, he gets busy. That record was banging too. I'm gonna go with those three as my three favorite EPMD songs, but there's so many. That's my favorite duo. Well, Tribe is my favorite duo, even though they're a trio. But EPMD is my second favorite group. Um, so what you're saying, you're a customer and get off the bandwagon sucker remix. Great question. And now I'm super far behind, but it's all good. Hassan Burton says, I got the Chubb Rocks album. The winner is with Howie Tee hanging on my wall. Dope. One, in comes the two to the three. One, in comes the, that record was banging too. Do-do-do-do, do-do. Oh, Dan Marasuti said he was in the hospital for the last 2 years. Wow. Oh, man. So he's been sick for 2 years and never got better. Oh, man. So at least he's out of his pain now. Wow, I did not know that. Rest in peace, Howie Tee, man. That's tough. Being in the hospital is tough. 2 years. I see some sexually explicit lyrics on here, too. I'm about to ban somebody else. Wow, they're going to make me do it today. Boo's Review says the Vanessa Del Rio line was in Just the Two of Us. Yes, Just the Two of Us. That is probably my favorite Chubb Rock record of all time. I'm going to go, that's my favorite Chubb Rock record ever. Just the Two of Us was that, because I like slow, funky records. Even though Treat 'Em Right was incredible too, I love that song, but I'm into more slow head nod. And Just the Two of Us was banging. Oh man. Let's see. MK Ultra says Howie Tee only 61. Damn, RIP. Yeah, 61 is young, man. And he was in the hospital for 2 years already. So, man. Yeah, he's a little older than me, but yeah, Rich Steezo was a dancer for EPMD. I believe I met Steezo a couple of times. Let's see. Mike Rock said the Ice Cube new movie is borderline. Yo, that movie has gotten so much negative reviews. I'm scared to even watch it. And I like Ice Cube. I like him as an actor. And I liked all of the War of the Worlds previous movies. So there's every reason why I should watch that. And yet, I'm scared to watch it. What's up, Kenny? Are you going to SOB's August 11th Hip Hop 52nd birthday with your brother KRS? I might be there, yeah. I might have a party, but if not, I will be there. Gregory Netta says, yo, Kenny, did you ever have a Versace shirt? No. El Presidente. I like that name. Are you new to the channel? I don't recognize your name. Big up. Says, hey, Kenny, what does your 45 collection look like in terms of genres? All over the place. A lot of hip hop 45s. A lot of old, all my 45s are 80s, 70s, and early 90s. I have some early 90s hip hop. A lot of R&B, all the dance records, all the classics, some pop, mostly R&B and hip hop. I don't have that many reggae. I used to have tons of reggae 45s, and I don't have hardly any of them anymore. Yeah, but I have every song, just about every song that I want, I have on 45. Just about. Some records are so expensive that the 45s are costing hundreds of dollars for a copy. Ridiculous. Dre Stack said he definitely had great music. Chubb Rock had the radio on lock with Treat 'em Right joint. Yeah, but all of those records, what's the one with Flavor Flav sample? Rock that shit, homie. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh man, I can't remember titles to save my life right now. That record used to kill in the party. And then the Popeye tune came out. Then Treat 'em Right. He had like a string. You bad chubs. He had like a string of them. Caught Up. That's what it was. Caught Up was banging too. Caught Up was heavy in the clubs in New York. Uh, Man, Woman, Infinity. Rock that shit, homie. All them records was dope. Big up Chubb Rock. Jack Swagger says Clark Kent used to spin for the Chubster back in the day. Clark Kent, who hasn't Clark Kent spun for? Um, Jack Swagger says salute KP for lacing us with those beats. Thank you so much for those that's checked out the beats. A lot more to come. Um, Jay Stack says, is Doc Ice still here? I think so. I'm not sure. Hitman Markeith Bankroll, what up? Says Hitman Howie Tee produced Little Sean's Hickey in Your Chest. I didn't know that. Big up Little Sean, too. That's my dude. Big up Little Sean. That's my man, Little Sean. Always good to see that brother. That's a good brother right there. Uh, Floji once says, Yo, KP, I thought you would find it funny that KRS told Fat Joe that he would least want to battle Biz out of anybody. Yeah, he's told me that too. I've heard him say that because Biz was so funny and could embarrass you. He just never knew with Biz. Yeah, because Biz would do something crazy, like pull his pants down, have on a diaper or something, and you crowd would go crazy and you would lose. Um, Absolutely, I've heard Chris say that you can't battle Biz because it's not like rapping. He'll do something crazy. Shout out to my dude Biz, man. Miss him so much. KP, you still gotta sing anyway. That may be my greatest hit in my compilation album. Anyway is not here today, but I'm gonna sing anyway. That might be my greatest hit. Theo Sanders says that Chubb Rock record was called You Bad Chubs. Yeah, I keep saying Popeye tune, and it's You Bad Chubs. Uh, uh, let's see. Um, Melissa Kirby, what's up? I don't recognize that name. What's good? I says, happy birthday to hip hop. Yeah, hip hop's 52nd birthday is coming up shortly. Uh, I've had the pleasure of watching the whole 52 years. Fantastic. As a hip hop fan, it's been incredible for me. Other day, I text Chuck D. What was it? When his birthday was Friday, we was on the live. I text Chuck D. Happy birthday, and he hit me back a few hours later. Right after I got off with you guys, I got a text back from Chuck D saying thanks. The fact that I could text Chuck D is crazy to me, man. It's just craziness. I still can't believe that I've been in the music business and I still can't believe my brother made a record. Forget his whole career. I can't believe he made one record. I can't believe it. Rosmel says Special Ed was paid less than $150,000 for those two first albums. Yeah, that was the rules back then. Profile Records, he was on Profile. They wasn't paying Run DMC. You think they're gonna pay Special Ed? Shit, Run couldn't get no money out of them. But everybody got jerked. That's everybody. I was watching something today, and DLC was talking about how Eazy-E talked him out of his publishing for writing the Eazy-E album and all of the stuff he wrote for NWA and everything. He said Eazy-E bought him a diamond chain and a ring for $3,000 and took his publishing. He didn't even know what it was, but he traded for a dookie rope and a ring. Publishing worth millions. His boy did it to him. Not going to get on my soap opera today, y'all. Y'all know how I feel about this game. Mike Rock says, I always like the name Livonia. Marquise says, some street names in Brooklyn will make you laugh. Yeah, you know what's funny about them? They have like some of these Victorian names are like old rich people's names that used to own the neighborhood, and the streets are named after them. Some of the most dangerous streets in the world named after people you wouldn't even imagine these names in Brooklyn. Live with Deacon Strange. What up? El Tico Loco says, I didn't know Howie Tee was UK born. I didn't know that either. Let's see. Dartmouth. DJ Goldfinger mentioned yous on the Road podcast not too long ago. Are you subbed to it? Are you subbed to it? I'm not sure what that means. Shout out to Goldfinger. That's my man. I knew Goldfinger before he was on Hot 97, before he really blew up big as a big New York City DJ. He was doing all the parties for a minute. And now he was on Hot 97, he was on Power 105. That's my man, Goldfinger. I haven't seen him in so long, but that's my dude. I did not know he shouted me out. I always love shout outs. Of course. MK Ultra says Special Ed on your show would be dope. He sure would. He sure would. Me and Special Ed go back. Let's see. I'm like 20 minutes behind. I'm just gonna try to. I really don't like missing all of these comments. I say this every week. There's good comments, but I just be falling behind. Mike Rock says KP ain't ducking smoke. Never. Brand Yakubian says, hi Kenny, who are your favorite producers who also rhyme occasionally? Great question. Well, then what's occasionally? Because Q-Tip is one of my favorite producers, but he's not occasionally. Eric Sermon is another one of my favorites. He's not occasionally. These are rappers who produce. Are they producers? Who said producers who rap occasionally? Okay. Probably Pete got to be number. Well, Dr. Dre. I'm going Dre, Pete Rock. Because Diamond D is not really occasionally. He's a rapper. I don't even know where to put Diamond D at. He's a rapper and a producer, but he's like equal. Showbiz. I'm gonna say he's occasionally too. I'm gonna put Showbiz up there. I love Brother Show's production. But my favorite, you say who my favorites? My favorites, I'm going with Dr. Dre and Pete. as my favorites, but I also like these other guys like Brother Show. Trying to think, raps occasionally, because Large Professor is a rapper. I'm gonna take him out the equation. Yeah, I'm gonna go with those two at the top. Great question. Tybo 2020 says, "Why do you read questions you have no answers to?" Because sometimes they're interesting questions, and I like to put them out there. Maybe someone else. The thing is for us to have an exchange of information. I learned a lot on this channel from you guys, and I hope you guys learn stuff from me. I'm trying to give you what I know of the hip hop world. And some questions are great questions. I just don't know the answer, but I still would let you know. I acknowledge that I see your question and it's a great question. I just don't know the answer. And I have no problem saying I don't know. None. Um, Kenty says, Kenny, were you ever into graffiti writing? No, I never wrote graffiti in my life. Although I used to hang out with my brother on his graffiti bombing runs on a train. I used to be a lookout. Altico Loco says, we went a while without a relevant hip hop artist passing. I don't know, it was a while, a couple of weeks. I feel like a couple of weeks ago I was talking about, well, we was talking about Malcolm Jamal Warner. He wasn't a hip hop artist, but he was a friend of hip hop. And he directed videos. He was in videos. Um, and I feel like we was talking about somebody not, maybe a month has gone by. I feel like we were just talking about somebody passing. And I believe that word relevant, I believe, is a tricky word. What does that word relevant mean? Because there's people that's relevant that you might not even know their name. Only a handful of people know their name, but their contribution is so huge that they are relevant. Um, just because we know the person's name or we don't know a person's name doesn't mean they're not relevant. There's some people behind the scenes that without them, hip hop might not even be hip hop. A person like Breakbeat Lou, shout out to him, who needs to be on the channel, and I say that every week. I just got to get a chance to sit down and hit him up and schedule. I've been so busy the past few weeks. Most people don't know who Breakbeat Lou is outside of the real hardcore hip hop fans, and yet hip hop would not be hip hop without him. Hip hop would be completely different without Breakbeat Lou. He will forever be relevant, but most people don't know his name. So I say that word relevant is a tricky word for me. Um, Views Review says, Views Review says, when I was a kid, we drove through Cincinnati fairly often. I used to try to find WKRP on the radio. Oh yeah, to be a kid and be so impressionable. I remember me and my brother sitting outside the window trying to see if Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer would go by on Christmas Eve. We was out the window staring, thinking we see if we could see Rudolph. Oh man. Jason Wall says high school freshman dressed like Les Nessman. Oh, Eminem said that? Les Nessman was mad funny too. Everybody on that show was hilarious. Great show. Um, Views Reviews says only positive vibes on this channel, bro. We try to keep it positive, but you know, I'll try to answer most any question if I can. I know some people come on just to troll and bring negativity to the channel. Um, and we try to deal with that. Like the guy said, I'm not ducking any questions. I'll answer any question as best to my ability. We try to keep it positive. I mean, there could be some negative on the channel if it makes sense in the conversation. Or just to come on to try to start stuff, old stupid stuff. Not even stuff that's new, but just trying to dig up something just because you don't like somebody is whack to me. Um, Red, did KP used to have a Gumby haircut? Never. I could never get into the Gumby. They had a short fade. I had a fade, but my fade was never high. This is interesting. Jason Wall says Chubb was on the MC Search song where most people first heard Nasty Nas Back to the Grill Again. Yeah, it was some well, I'm not gonna say controversy. He was trying to figure out Nas's first appearance. Was it Large Professor live at the barbecue, or was it MC Search Back to the Grill Again? They came out right around the same time, but one of them had to come out before the other one, which would be Nas's first appearance. Or did Nas record one before the other one, then the other one just came second? Don't know. But what is the Nas's official first appearance? Um, Kenty says the KRS Just Ice Mashed Up was an underrated cut. My favorite cut on that album, and I was in the studio when they recorded it. Engage says, please listen to my demo and Big Payback. Both of those were incredible. Incredible. Please listen to my demo was a very heartfelt song with perfect music in the background, perfect sample, with EPMD talking about how hard it was to get on back in the day. It's a great record to listen to understand the real pain and struggle it took to really get on back in the day. It was really hard to get a record deal. Ultra says, can't sample music, but anyone can sample our picks. Crazy world. Yes, I understand the difference, just an observation. Well, anyone can't sample your picks. It depends on the whoever owns the rights to the photo can step up and say, no, you can't, or yes, you can. Um, but people will take your pictures and just take it and run. So it's up to you. Sometimes it's not even worth the legal fees to fight somebody on it. But people will just take your stuff, your pictures, and run. VH1 was doing a special on hip hop, and they did a little segment on KRS-One. And that same picture that I had put up that I told you with me and KRS as kids that people took, they found the picture, but they asked me, since I had the photo, for permission to use the photo for the documentary, and they paid me. I got a few $100 to license that picture to VH1. I remember that. So I got money out of nowhere because I own the picture. Even though I didn't take the picture, my mother took the picture, and Chris could have licensed it too. He had a copy of it, but they came to me since I was the one that had put it up. And I was like, sure, I will gladly charge you, VH1. Rosmel says, you got to chill, crossover and headbanger. You got to chill is ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. These are ridiculous records. Headbanger, I told y'all my headbanger story last week. A lot of times songs be my favorite because of circumstances, like you a customer, um, because of how I heard it. Uh, Booze Review says I was a college DJ at the time. I played It's My Thing because it was hot, but I didn't personally like it. Yeah, it was hot. It was to play on the radio a lot. And it's a dope record. I just was like, it's all right. I didn't really care for it, but I cared for everything else they ever made. I tell you that much. Um, Def Rocker says there's a video and this man said he produced Don't Sweat the Technique, but his name wasn't on the album. There's a lot of controversy behind those Eric B. and Rakim album credits. For those that did not see my Large Professor interview that I did about a year ago now, please check that out. We go into detail about his work on Eric B. and Rakim behind the scenes that he's not credited for. A lot of controversy behind that. Because, like I said, whoever gets the rights and owns that publishing on that album, the album's gold album, maybe platinum. Back in those days, you're still talking for a single, you're still talking tens of thousands, maybe $100,000. That's back in those days. Um, Crusher Blackwell says, Kenny, it would be great to get Herbie Lovebug on your show. Yes, it would. I've never met Herbie Lovebug in my life. Don't know him from Adam. He's a very underrated producer, very underrated, and writer. He wrote just about all of the hits for Salt and Pepper. He was actually writing from a female's point of view, and it was huge. He was writing and doing the music. Incredible. Rob Justice says, I think everyone has a story about a popular record they didn't like. Mine are Bonita Applebaum and Protect Your Neck. I have a few. I'd like to hear you guys tell me your story about songs that everybody liked that you didn't like. There's some songs I didn't like at first, but then I got it. It took me a minute, but I got it. I'm not going to say my list yet. I want to hear what you guys have to say, but you, uh, It's My Thing would be on that list. Uh, let's see. I'm gonna oh, my worst one. I didn't like Rebel Without a Pause when I first heard it. Oh, it wasn't until I heard it at a party that changed my mind. Yeah, I've had plenty of those. This is a perfect comment right here, Jack Swagger. KP was hating, then became a customer. Exactly. That's exactly what happened. Rosmo says Rakim thought you a customer was a diss towards him. Yeah, I think there was a line in there. He says, slap me and I'll slap you back. And I think Rakim had said something about slapping an MC or something like that. And then Eric says, slap me and I'll slap you back. Because then Rakim took it as a diss, and then he answered, um, I forgot the name of the first single of their second album. Oh my goodness. I hate when I forget song names. I can remember the video and everything. They always dressed up like old gangsters. What's the name of that record? First single on their second album, the video and everything. That's when Rakim answered EPMD back, and then they met up and squashed it. Um, Sweet Goldilocks, what's up? Um, let's see. Hooper Canty, Edo G and the Bulldogs, I Gotta Have It. That was a great record. I believe I was the second person in New York City to play that record. I'm going to say that with pride, even though I don't know for sure. I'm going to shout out to Awesome 2, the legendary Awesome 2 from WNWK in New York City. They originally worked on EPMD. They might have produced, no, they didn't produce It's My Thing, but they might have worked on it. They were influential with early PMD, early Nice and Smooth, and Edo G and the Bulldogs. And I was DJing at SOBs. We used to have a night called the Kenny Parker Show. It used to be packed. It was the spot on a Tuesday night in New York. And it might have been, I don't know if it was Special K or Teddy Ted, walked up to me and said, "This is our new group." And they had a white label promo. And I was DJing. They handed me the record, and I listened to it in the other earphone. When I heard that, and then the beat drop, I got to have it. And brown is my complexion. That's how he started. And I heard that, I was like, "Oh, this is crazy." I threw it right on, and it was brand new. I had the test press in my hand. They walked over. Nobody had played on the radio. I'm pretty sure they played it on the radio. So I'm going to say they were first. They handed it to me, and I'm going to say I was second. So I'm going to say I was second to play Edo G and the Bulldogs. I Gotta Have It. I'm going to put that out there. Even though I have no proof, I'm going for it. Rid says, did you ever have a crush on Rosie Perez? Not a crush, but of course I thought she was very attractive. You know what? The funny thing is, when she was on Soul Train, I did not know that was the same Rosie Perez. And I used to love that light-skinned girl. I didn't know she was Puerto Rican at the time. I used to love the light-skinned girl that used to dance on Soul Train. And then I remember her in Malcolm X's movie. I believe it was Do the Right Thing. And then she used to sing Kenny Parker show SOBs on a Tuesday night. Rosie Perez used to come through. Matter of fact, she used to sit right next to me on the speaker while I was DJing. And she used to come to BDP shows. I got to be, pretty cool with her. And one day I saw her and I said, I heard somebody, was a rumor that she was on Soul Train. I was like, "Rosie, but that's the same girl, the same light-skinned girl that used to dance on Soul Train." And when I saw Rosie, I said, "Rosie, did you ever used to dance on Soul Train?" And she said in that voice, "Yeah, that was me." And she started doing the dance. She started doing that dance that she used to do on Soul Train. She did it right there in front of me. We both started laughing. And I was like, "Okay, that was you, Rosie." So I didn't have a crush on Rosie, but I thought she was very attractive on Soul Train. I mean, in life. Haven't seen her in years, but we used to be cool. David Alston says, "Kenny, have you ever thrown away a demo tape after someone gave it to you? Be honest." Yes, plenty of times. I think I told this story a few months ago that a guy in grammar school used to bully me. And when I was like 12, no, that's a lie. When I was 11 years old, this guy used to bully me in grammar school, 6th grade. Years later, when I was in BDP, so you're talking like 10, 11 years later, maybe like 11 years later, this guy ran into my boy Daryl in Flatbush and was like, "Yo, can you give Kenny this demo? I'm a rapper. Can you give Kenny this tape?" And I saw Daryl, and he started laughing. So he told me, he said, "Guess who gave me a demo tape to give to you?" And it was the dude. And Daryl said, "I'm doing my job. I'm handing you his demo." And I said, "Thank you, Daryl." And I took his demo. I walked like 3 feet and dropped it right in the trash. Man, get the hell out of here. People have selective memory. Like, you don't remember bullying me. Now we cool. I'm supposed to listen to your demo? Hell no. Other times I threw people's demo tapes away only because I couldn't carry it. Like, for whatever reason, I didn't want to carry the tape around, or I couldn't, so I just tossed it. But most of the time, I took people's demos and listened to it. I would say me throwing away someone's demo is very rare. Most of the time, I listened to it. Most of the time, they weren't good. 99% of the demos I ever got didn't sound good to me. Once in a while, you hear a demo that's like, yo, this was fire. This is fire. This dude should get signed. John Dixon says, Steezo made a diss song towards EPMD. I remember that. Sad. All right, I'm doing the Benny Doyle scroll down. I'm going to jump 50 comments, and I'm going to come in right here. Definitely learned a lot from the comment section, and of course, DJ KP, definitely good energy every time. Thank you. That's the goal here, exchange information. And I really appreciate you guys for chilling with me, especially the people that have been down for the 2 years that we've been on here every week. Big up to the Rewind crew. You guys, you know, nothing but love. It's summertime, and we here. Blaze Universal says, KP, what's your take on DJ Quick agreeing with the comment that the real Dr. Dre? Yeah, I saw that. Someone said DJ Quick is the person that we think Dr. Dre is. And then DJ Quick actually came on that comment and agreed with it, which is I would consider a diss to his man. A lot of people talk about DJ Quick as being one of the great engineers ever, and his mixing skills are elite. Maybe so, but I'm just looking at the body of work. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I don't know DJ Quick, have never met him. I don't know Dr. Dre, have never met him. So all I could go by is just their body of work. So I'm trying to understand, where does DJ Quick and Dr. Dre, how is Quick and Dr. Dre, how does Quick have himself being what Dr. Dre supposed, how is he, let me see this right. How does he consider himself what Dr. Dre is supposed to be to the rest of us? Based on what? I don't know. I would love to see Quick elaborate on that, because just going by the body of work, and people talk about Dre had a lot of help behind the scenes and all that. I'm pretty sure he did, but still, Dr. Dre's body of work is so ridiculous, probably the greatest in hip hop history, him and Preem, that I'm trying to figure out why Quick says he's over Dre. I don't know. I'm not going to disrespect anybody. I don't know these people. I would just like to hear him elaborate on that a little bit. MK Ultra says, I listened to KRS talk about Bam and allegations from a few years ago. He doesn't defend Bam or allegations. He just said it doesn't take away from what he brought to hip hop. Controversial take? Yeah, apparently, because KRS got a ton of backlash for saying that. So yeah, it is a controversial take. I mean, I could see where he's coming from, saying that, you know, you can be two things at one time. And I always say that on this channel. You can be two things at one time. Great in your field and a monster in another area. Now, like I said, I have no idea what the story is with Africa Bambaataa. I've heard there's been more than one allegation. I don't even know. I don't even follow it like that. But if it's true, then Bam should get everything that he has coming to him in this world and the next. If it's not true, it's unfortunate because his whole legacy was destroyed. I don't know the answer to that, but he was great for hip hop. Now, he could have been a monster otherwise, a horrible, horrible individual otherwise, but he was great for hip hop. And that's the problem. You know, it's the same problem, the R. Kelly problem. Do you play R. Kelly's music even though he's convicted? Now, he is convicted for trafficking. Um, do you still play his music? He's a great singer and also a trafficker. It's tough. Um, but there it is. I personally try not to get too involved in that because I'm not involved in it. But every once in a while, um, somebody will come on my channel and comment, so I'll comment. So that's just that we're clear what's going on. Let's see. Paul D, this is interesting. Said, did people know who Breakbeat Lou was back in the day? I thought that nobody knew Breakbeat Lou and Lenny's real identities. But then Lou popped up online and everybody seemed to know him already. Yeah, it seems like everybody behind the scene, not everybody, but a lot of people behind the scenes knew who he was. I've even heard Biz talk about Lenny, going to Lenny, getting records from Lenny. Um, that was Breakbeat Lou's partner. So people behind the scenes kind of knew who they were, but the masses didn't know who they were. But I'm gonna get into that with Breakbeat Lou when he comes on the channel. If. Riz says, I remember staying up all night waiting for the Tooth Fairy. And because you didn't go to sleep, the Tooth Fairy didn't show up. Oh man, that's hilarious. The Tooth Fairy was the greatest. Leaving money under your pillow? Are you kidding me? Um, 73 Trinity said, 73 Trinity, what's up? Big Kenny P, little late, but here. We got to get Jamal Ski on here, bro. That's my dude, Jamal Ski. Shout out Jamal Ski. There's so many people we got to get on here, man. El Presidente says barbecue was first. D Diddy says, I think it was Live at the Barbecue. Yeah, I think Live at the Barbecue was first. Live at the Barbecue was 1990. It was late 90 though. That album dropped late 90. That Main Source album dropped late 90. And then because the single Looking at the Front Door that was like, that might have been that might have been like the fall of 90, something like that, if I recall. But yeah, I would say it was before Search. Yeah, Back to the Grill was 91, 92. Yeah, it was way before. Let's see. Mark Thompson says Back to the Grill is returning to the barbecue. Yeah, that makes sense. Back to the Grill. Yeah. Back to the Grill again. Yeah, I can see that. Mike Rock says, please listen to my Dimple sampled Phaso Riding High. Yeah, because Redman said a bit had a demo before Riding High. That's what he meant. Oh, wait. Paulie D is correct. Back to the Grill is a callback to Third Base Kick 'em in the Grill. Oh. Jack Swagger says, Back to the Grill again, August 25th, 1992. Live at the Barbecue, July 23rd, 91. Wait, the Main Source album didn't come out till July of 91? Wow, I really thought it was the end of 90. Wow, I could be wrong for sure, but I really thought Main Source dropped at the end of 90. Rosmel says Live from the Barbecue was also Akinelli's first time spitting on wax. Big up to my man Ak. That's my dude. $3. Herbie Lovebug is a super producer alongside Marlon Marl. Yes, you gotta consider Herbie Lovebug a super producer. And he made a lot of hits, not just Salt and Pepper. He did Dana Dane, he did Kid and Play. Um, I think Kwame did his own production in that crew. But yeah, that team was tight. Markeith Bankroll says Salt and Pepper fighting now for masters. Yeah, and the record company, of course, is not trying to give up the masters because the licensing for Push It is probably still bringing in big money. They probably looked at Salt and Pepper's licensing, what the master usage is worth still to this day, and what they think it's going to be worth in the future, and they're like, nah, we're not giving it up. So that's going to be a fight. It's a shame. I always say this when speaking of producers, David Olson, when speaking of producers, Mark the 45 King gets slept on RIP. Absolutely. He was incredible. Another incredible producer that had the flavor unit rocking and just doesn't, we just forget these people. JT says Rebel Without a Pause is one of those life-changing records in my world. Mine too. Um, Rid says didn't like hot sex at first. I love that. I'm so tribed out that there's no way I wouldn't like it. Yes, rap salutes. Thank you. Rakim says you can get a smack for this. I ain't no joke. And then EPMD says smack me and I'll smack you back. I could see where Rakim would think they was dissing. Absolutely. Terrell McMillan, Follow the Leader was the song. Yes, Follow the Leader. Damn, I could not get that out. Thank you, y'all. Follow the Leader. I might be with you on this, Jack Swag. I never liked METHOD, man. Then I heard it in an interview that Method Man didn't like it, and I didn't feel so bad. That was a big record. That was a gold single for Wu-Tang Clan, or for Meth and Wu-Tang Clan. I didn't really care for it either. You know why I didn't like it? Because he kept going, every rhyme he's like, and this, and this. And it was like destroying my ears. Like he kept doing that style, which for me was nerve-wracking. And I love Method Man. I love the remix to METHOD, man. I liked all of it. I just didn't care for that song. And it was huge. A gold rap single in the 90s is a huge record. Let's see. Wait, Eddie Kane says Rakim actually says smack me and I'll smack you back. No, I thought EPMD said smack me and I'll smack you back. The bass line upon the goose on, huh? Smack me and I'll smack you back. And the bass. I thought that was EPMD. MK Ultra. This is out of left field, but we switched to basketball for a second. He says thoughts on Manute Bol. 7'7" was he? Um, he had a tragic life story, how he made money and um, lost almost all of his money trying to support a revolution in his home country in Africa, right? Then he got stranded. Then the side that he picked to donate his money to lost the revolution, and then the other government who won was holding him hostage or something. Something like that was the story. As a ball player, he was very interesting. He didn't even jump off the floor when he shot. He would shoot a three occasionally. I had a friend who I went to college with who went to college with Manute Bol for a second when Manute was in like I think Manute was in like a junior college or like a Division II college or something like that. And my homeboy went to school with him and said Manute Bol was mad funny. He said Manute Bol would call you a black MF in a minute. Which is funny because Manute Bol is about as dark as they come and would call you dark in a second. I always thought that was funny. Rest in peace to Manute Bol. Engage VR says, yo, the scratching on EPMD, the big payback. Yo, always thought the scratches were dope. Yes, all the DJ scratches were dope. Those were particularly dope. How he murdered it. Yo. Yes, absolutely. Um, I'm with you, Def Rock. He says, when I first heard Rebel Without a Pause was dope. I went bananas. I went bananas too. It was like nothing you ever heard before. Um, um, GF Worrell says, not really a track. Most people would put Rakim in their top 5. I'm just not a fan. Let's say Paid in Full. Wow, that's a tough take right there, but I respect that. There's rappers who other people think are incredible, who I think are all right. Most people love the guard though. Um, Jack Keys Retro says, I thought Rosie was on In Living Color. Yes, she was the choreographer of In Living Color for the Fly Girls, and she was the one who was booking all the rap acts on there. So Rosie was very instrumental in getting rappers national exposure, because you got to remember back in 91, 92, 93, it was very hard for a rap group to get national exposure. But Rosie was booking all the groups on Live in Color, so that's one of her claim to fame for hip hop. Thank you, Rosie. But she was a Soul Train dancer first. Go on YouTube and look up Rosie Perez Soul Train and look at the highlights. Boo's Confession, another confession. I still don't think Paid in Full, the album, is super dope. Oh, you're killing me. The album version of My Melody and Eric B for President was whack. I don't think it was whack. Whack is a strong word. It's a different mix. Different mix. The originals might have been better, but I could see why they had to remix it, because by the time the album dropped, it was like a year later. So I guess they wanted to like give it a little freshening up. Marley freshened it up a little bit. Chinese Arithmetic was super whack to me. Mm. I personally loved Paid in Full. Patrick Wise says that Bohannon sample for I Gotta Have It is also a great Mother's Day song, along with Dear Mama, Sweet Sadie, and My Dukes. Yeah. And I'll always love my mama. That's a great one too. Rest in peace, Bohannon. Red says J-Lo was a fly girl in Living Color. Yes, her and Rosie Perez have history, and they ended up beefing. $3 says I would have done the same thing to a bully. Thank you. Damn, we're at 9:29 already. Feel like we're just talking. I might go over just a little bit today, y'all, because I just feel like talking a little bit if y'all want to chill with me. Um, for those that's just checking in, this is the Kenny Parker Show. We do this every Tuesday and Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And big up to the Rewind crew. And I'm just hang out a little while longer if you guys want to. Engage via our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your contribution to the channel. I really appreciate it, as usual. Says, salute, Kenny. Thank you for taking your time to kick it with us. Always love and appreciate it. Hit the like button, y'all. Yes, thank you. And I appreciate you guys kicking it with me, too. The family. 73 Trini says, you know, I've been down for 2 years, maybe missed like 2 Tuesdays live. Thank you so much. $3 says Dr. Dre is way older than Quick, and Quick admitted that he learned from Dre. Yeah, I mean, excuse me. I would just like to hear his rationale. DJ Quick's sonic quality isn't on par with Dr. Dre's sound quality. I think Dr. Dre has some of the best sound quality ever in hip hop history, but some people are saying that Quick is the best. There are people saying it. I just don't know. I've heard people say that though. I see somebody say they didn't like Black Moon. What? Tatiana Johnson, what's up? Says Kenny, have you ever met Kid and Play? Briefly, like just I seen Kid. I seen him from time to time. Just basically just what's up. Like I've never had a conversation with either one of them. Just I've seen Play. I don't know. I've never met Play. I've just been in a room with him. I've never met him. I've met Kid. We say what's up when we see each other. Now, DJ Wiz, their DJ, that's my dude. Shout out DJ Wiz. Yeah, Markeem says, I know Kid and Plays DJ Wiz. Wiz is a great dude, man. Just my guy from day one, man. Cutie Pie says, didn't like R. Kelly before he was convicted. Oh, Cutie Pie, you're killing me. How you didn't like the R? Ah, killing me, Cutie Pie. Def Rocker says people like Dr. Dre, but forget he beat up that D Barnes. Yes, he did. Shout out to D Barnes. That's my homie. I was very upset when that happened. I actually talked to D Barnes like a few days after that incident. I was very upset. She told me the whole story over the phone, long distance. Remember long distance? I talked to D from New York. I was in New York. She was in LA. And I spoke to her long distance. I got the whole scoop. It was a bad, bad thing. And yet people have moved on from that. So, who knows? I mean, nobody's perfect, but what is unforgivable is the question. What is unforgivable for an artist? Let's see. Oh, Cutie Pie, you're killing me today. Jack Nicholson was my favorite Joker. Ah, killing me right now. Over Heath Ledger? This is interesting, Patrick. Why? You must really know your stuff. Says Danny Dan the Beatman is another great DJ digger. Yes, shout out Danny Dan the Beatman. I went to his house. Me and Biz. I talk about Biz so much on this channel. Rest in peace. I was chilling with Biz, and we went, I believe, in the Bronx to Danny Dan the Beatman's house. Me and Biz parked the car, went upstairs, and Danny Dan played Biz records for his second album. Some of the beats on his second album, Biz got from Danny Dan the Beatman. I was there. Shout out to Danny Dan the Beatman. I saw him a few years ago. Rapsalute says the barbecue single was after the album. Right, but that's what I'm thinking. So when did the album drop? $3 says, looking at the front door came out in 1991. I used to conversate with the Stu Fine, the CEO of Wild Pitch back then. So it was 91? I could have sworn it was like, well, maybe, yeah, I thought it was like late 90, but it could have been 91. All right, I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. So I'm about to just disrespect a bunch of comments. Oh, Tim Storm says New Jersey's own Tony D, RIP. Yes, peace to Tony D, who produced he produced Search in the beginning, and he produced Poor Righteous Teachers. I met him a few times. $3 says Rosie Perez needs to be in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame. Seriously. Well, she was definitely a friend of hip hop. I don't know if she's a Hall of Famer, but she's definitely a friend. Tatiana says, Kenny, have you ever heard of Chris? Let me see. Let me move this. Have you ever heard of Chris Bender, R&B singer? No. Rest in peace. He had only one single called Who Do I Choose? No, I never heard of him. The man C Max says, I didn't like Kanye when he first came out. I still don't like Through the Wire. I thought Through the Wire was okay. I liked Kanye. Patrick Wise says, KP, you need to do a live with Rosie to see if she could still do the dance. I know, right? I would love to get Rosie on here. These people I haven't seen in so long. I haven't seen Rosie since probably mid-2000s. Rid says, yeah, keep it going, KP. Live a little. All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get off in a little longer. I just wanted to get a little more of the comments, and I'm loving this conversation. I love this, man. Dwight says, I've been listening to KRS-One since '87. Dope. And I feel like I know you better because of the show. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's the purpose. You guys get to know me, and I kind of get to know you guys through comments. But yeah, thank you for that. Patrick Wise says, KP for the OT. Big up to the OT crew. Big up to the overtime crew. Tampa Bay says, Dr. Dre's sound is too clean sometimes. I like a clean sound. I like clean. I like dirty. That was part of their sound. Def Rocker says, Rakim was the first to use metaphors. I don't know if that's true, but he could have been. MMA Crossfire, Kid and Play would be social media superstars today. Absolutely. Absolutely. They had a look, a distinct look. They had the music behind them. They had the dancing. They would be huge today. On TikTok, those dances. Imagine people trying to do the Kid and Play dance. They would be in commercials and all kinds of. It would be ridiculous right now. Let's see. John Walker says DJs usually stick together like musicians. That is true. All the DJs, well, from my era, just about all the DJs know, we all know each other. All the DJs who DJ for all the other groups, we all know each other pretty much. Def Rocker says, y'all been drinking too much Kool-Aid to not like Rakim. Everyone has the right to their own opinion, man. If you don't like Rakim, that is fine. There's, no one, you can't please everybody. I personally think Paid in Full is one of the greatest albums ever recorded in any genre. That's just my opinion. GF Worrell says, yep, Jack Nicholson for me too. Oh, y'all killing me with this. Killing me. Henry Cedillo says 100 KP, Kenny P. That was years ago. People act like people don't change and can't be forgiven. Some people are not forgiven, especially of people that you don't know. I think when you idolize or admire somebody so hard, you really get let down when they do something that you find questionable. And I think it breaks people's hearts. And it's like almost like a real breakup, a real relationship breakup, and they'll never get over it. None of us are perfect. If you took anybody's life and put it out there for everybody to see, anytime you messed up, anytime you said something stupid, anytime you did anything, we all put it out there, a lot of us would be in trouble. Who knows? I mean, but some things that people have done, I would never do in a million years, but that's just me. Gregory Nettis says, no, Kenny, Rakim is not R. Rakim is the R, not R. Kelly. Yes, I agree. Rakim is the first R, although R. Kelly did use the R a lot. But you are correct. Rakim is the R, but I really call him the God. Tampa Bay says, I'm with Cutie Pie on Jack. Wow, um, this is really growing. Jack Nicholson as the best Joker is growing on here. Shocked. John Lee says, what Mystical did was unforgivable. I think so. I think he has at least 2 or 3 attempted blapes, SMS. I think he's in jail at this very moment. Yeah, he did one and got like 6 years, got out and did another one. And this is not, he say, she said, he went to court and lost twice. What he did is unforgivable, and he's exactly where he should be. He is not suitable to be part of society. And people like that should be taken off the streets. All right, I'm scrolling to the very bottom and I'm jumping off. All right. Boo's Reviews. KP, did you ever meet DJ Silver Spinner for Whistle? Not that I know of. No. Jason Wall says, I like Hammer's pumps and a bump or whatever it was. It went off. Jason Wall, that is a great confession right there. We should do that on we should do that on Friday. Not the songs you didn't like, but confess to a song that on the low you really thought was dope that most people would look at you sideways for. Because Pumps and a Drum, that would be a sideways record for sure. For sure. Favorite song by Houdini, Funky Beat. Funky Beat was ridiculous. All right. I'm getting off. This is the Kenny Parker Show. We went an extra 15 minutes past where we normally cut off. I think I've got a good guest confirmed for next week. It's going to be really interesting. I've been wanting to get this guy for a minute. So it's going to be dope. Let me make this small. Yeah, I will catch you guys. I'm just thinking, I'm looking at the comments, I'm thinking I'm bugging. All right, I'm going to catch you guys on Friday. Y'all have a great rest of your week. Big up to the Rewind crew, and I'll catch you guys on Friday. Peace.